Viewers, welcome to today's episode, which is on intimate partner violence. And today, I want us to discuss the indicators that you are in an abusive relationship. And one of the indicators is using intimidation, where one partner is using intimidation, making you feel afraid by using the looks, actions, and gestures, smashing things, destroying your property, abusing pets, and even displaying weapons. All those viewers are indicators that your partner is using intimidation in that relationship, which can become very, very uncomfortable. The other thing that is associated with intimate partner violence is using emotional abuse. That is putting the partner down, making her or him feel bad about himself or herself, calling him or her names, and making him or her think that they are crazy, playing mind games on the partner, humiliating him or her, or making him or her feel guilty. Notice, my dear viewers, that I'm using he or her because these days it has been known very well that it's not only men who can abuse their spouses, even women, the wives are abusing their spouses. So that is using emotional abuse. Then the other indication that you're in an abusive relationship is using isolation, meaning this partner who is abusive wants to isolate you completely, even from your friends, even from your families, even from your relatives, so that when you are just alone, they are more able to manipulate you. So controlling what you do and what you even see and who you even talk to, what you are reading and where you are going, limiting even your outside involvement, and also using jealousy to justify actions. Remember, there are some partners who are very jealous in their relationships, and sometimes when it is very extreme, we call it zero jealousy. And this kind of jealousy is very, very pathological and can lead even to the killing of the spouse. So using isolation is another indication that you are really in an abusive relationship and you need to do something about it before it is too late. Then the other indication that one is in an abusive relationship is minimizing or denying and even blaming. So sometimes you realize that in an abusive relationship, the abuser will try to trivialize what they have done. If they had tried to strangle you, then they are trivializing it and saying they were just joking. However, you know very well that is not a joke. That is what we are calling minimizing, making it appear like it's nothing. But of course, the one who is being abused knows better. So making light of the abuse and not talking about, not taking the spouse's concern very seriously about their complaint about being abused, saying the abuse didn't happen. Imagine that you're in an abusive relationship and the spouse is saying that they did not abuse you at all. They are saying, in fact, it was you are just magnifying the matter, but you know very well that you are actually almost being killed. Shifting responsibility for abusive behavior. So this spouse will let you know that were it not for what you did, they would not have abused you. So they are trying to justify what they have done to you. So that one is shifting now responsibility for abusing behavior. Remember, my dear viewers, even when a spouse has made a mistake, really, it cannot justify the action of the other one when they're blaming and even struggling you. So again, it cannot be business as usual when all this is happening in a relationship, saying that you caused it. So this means that the blame is being shifted on you. So you see, dear viewers, that here the abuser is minimizing or trivializing or even denying that they ever tried to strangle you, or they are denying that they hit you with a hard object, and actually they are trying to place the blame on you. And then it means then you are in a very abusive relationship and you need to do something about it. So in other instances, the abuse takes the form of using the children, making the spouse feel guilty about the children. For example, the spouse will be made to feel like they are not taking care of the children well, like they don't even know how to parent their children, and even they may even criticize you in front of those children, really underplaying what you are doing with the children and trying to show that it's only them who can really work well with the children. So using the children to relay messages is another form of abuse because instead of using going directly to the spouse, you are using the children, and even the messages may not be very good. So this is again is not allowed in a relationship. Using visitations to harass them other spouse. So remember, after the divorce has happened, there's that visitation right for the children. And sometimes when the children go to one spouse, then the other one is still harassing them, even now when they go to pick the children from there. So they use this visitation to harass the other spouse and even threatening to take the children away. So remember, when a divorce happens, and the children are separated, they have to keep moving from one home to the other because this is what the law is saying. But remember that one spouse who now appears to be more powerful can threaten to take the children away from the other spouse. So another area is using male privilege. So in some instances, there are those male abusers who will threaten who will really behave like their servants in the castle in a home, and they are mistreating their spouses, making all the big decisions. That the woman's input is non-existent, that they are not given any chance to even contribute. Even if it is a family business they are going to start, the other spouse has no say. Whatever kind of development is in the home, the other spouse is never considered. And actually, that is using the male privilege because this is more common with the men acting like the master of the castle, like they are the king, and nobody can question them. Being the ones to define men's and women roles in the home, again, is another form of using male privilege, and indeed it is another indication that you are in a very abusive relationship and you need to do something about it. Using economic abuse. And this one, dear viewers, is very, very common. You may have seen that some spouses make their even wives really beg for money, and this money is for running the home. It's not even theirs. So that is using economic abuse because the person feels so belittled and it's like they are begging something which cannot be good at all. So other using economic abuse, it is preventing the other spouse from getting or keeping a job. Remember, there are many people who have been told, if you are going to be my wife, you cannot be going every day to work and you must stay in the home. That, dear viewers, is an indication that you are going through abuse. And why are you being denied the chance to go and work? So that you do not have any money on you. And the minute you are so desperate for money, it shows that you are very dependent on this spouse, then that is where now the abuse can occur proper. So preventing you from getting or keeping a job, again, instantly, that is a kind of abuse, intimate partner abuse, making the spouse ask for money. It can be very, very uncomfortable asking your spouse every day to give you some money, even little money to run the home. So you feel like a beggar throughout. And the reason why is that you can feel the power of this spouse. And again, it shows you are totally dependent on them. And being very dependent on your spouse financially, it means you are like a beggar, it means you are like a prisoner. And indeed, that is why many people have been killed in abusive relationship because they are telling themselves, where can I go without money? How can I survive without money? Indeed, I cannot survive without this spouse of mine. And that is how many have met their death. So asking for money makes one feel very uncomfortable, and we are saying it's a form of abuse. Still, are using economic abuse, giving her an allowance. So imagine this spouse is being given an allowance, and this allowance is never enough. So again, it directs one again to continue begging for money, so it cannot feel good at all. It is a form of abuse. Taking her money. Not only have women been denied chances to go and work or keep their jobs, sometimes there are those who have worked and all their money, they are told, I want to have your money, and it is now this partner who is distributing the money and making use of that money, making sure that this person is not financially independent, meaning now in that state, they can do what we call power and control. They can use power and control tactics, not letting her know about or have access to family income. Imagine you are calling yourself a married partner. and you don't even know what is happening in your home. You don't even know about the nature of the business your spouse is running. You don't even have a say. You don't even have an idea what are the levels of income that you people are having. So again, that may mean you are not an equal partner in this relationship, and it's all about dependency and using economic abuse in this relationship. Then the other indication that intimate partner violence is occurring is using coercions and threats. So you are being coerced, you are being threatened with so many things. So making the person or carrying out threats to do something to hurt the other partner. So what are these threats looking like? That I'm going to leave you, that I'm going to kill you. I have a weapon, I'm going to kill you. So again, this becomes a real problem. The use of threats, it means you are always under stress. It means you are full of anxiety. It means that even you can become very depressed. You don't even know what you are waiting for. You don't even know what can happen to you the next thing. So threatening to leave the spouse, that is another indication of using coercion and threats. That this spouse is telling you, I will leave you, I will leave you. And since you think this person is indispensable in your life, you continue clinging in a very and to him in a very abusive relationship, and many have met their death, and others are threatening that they are going to commit suicide. So this spouse keeps saying that they are going to kill themselves, and when they say that, actually they are using threats, they are coercing you. So again, this one is abuse at the highest level, making her drop charges for those who have taken each other to the court because of abuse. Then you are being forced now. And the threats are being made on your life. If you don't withdraw this charge, I'm going to kill you. If you don't withdraw these threats, I'm going to do something crazy. So imagine you going through such a thing. It means then that you really have to be very careful with your life, because your life is very important, and really you need to take care of your safety and ensure that you are safe wherever you are. Making her do illegal things. So sometimes we have also found spouses who make you do illegal things, and probably it is even using you to peddle some drugs here and there. This is illegal business, and indeed you are being threatened. If you don't do the ABCD, I'm going to kill you. So you can imagine the people who are living with people who are criminals, and now they are being threatened. If you don't do ABCD, I'm also going to kill you. So again, using coercions and threats is an indication that you are in a very, very abusive relationship, and you need, it is a wake up call, and you need to do something. Using intimidation, making the spouse afraid, even by using the looks, actions, and gestures, and even smashing of things. So, what I've discussed here, my dear viewers, is about power and control wheel. And these areas that have really discussed with you are indications that you need to do something before it is too late. And this something probably sometimes may mean that you really decide that you may want to have a separation first and foremost, because a separation is not a divorce. When you are separated from your spouse, it is very important because you'll be thinking about the way forward. You will be sober. You will not be having the mental chatter. At least you'll be in a position to make a very powerful decisions about your life. So you either have that separation, then you are also checking what your spouse is doing, whether they're interested in this relationship. And if they are not interested and probably they are saying good riddance, then too bad. And I tell my viewers, that when you are living, then you need to be careful and also understand that anything can happen. The marriage can come to an end, so you go and be prepared for that. Because anything is possible. However, a separation is very important. When you realize that your spouse has become abusive, you tell them it will not be business as usual. And we go to a marriage and family therapist so that we can work on our issues. And once we have done that, then we can be able to move on well. However, if the spouse is reluctant, and indeed you have gone through all these types of abuse that we have discussed here, then you must make a very sober decision, and which now it's a decision that only you can make. And why do people remain in abusive relationship? Because they are telling themselves, my partner is going to change. However, sometimes you may wait forever. However, even as you are waiting, sometimes you may also be killed in that relationship. And again, you are saying you are staying there because of the children. These children that you are saying you are staying there for, already they're in a very abusive relationship. They have already witnessed the fights. They have already, actually, they are also victims in that marriage, because they are also being affected, and they are also having stress. They are also having anxiety. Some could also be depressed in the long run. So the decision is yours. Which is the lesser evil? They said that you are trying to say that you want your children to benefit. And what if you died in that relationship? What would happen? The children would not see you again. So it's better then you make a decision and look at the lesser evil, so that you can continue with your life and that of your children when you are of good health. So, dear viewers, you have been listening to Dr. Jane Jago Wanjao, a marriage and family therapist, also a counseling psychologist, and also I practice along Kiabu Road in Ridgeways area, Seattle Mall. You are welcome with your spouse so that you can be helped, so that together we can look at the things that you are going through, so that together we can try to see what can be done. And even if your spouse does not agree to come, I really encourage people to come even alone for individual therapy, because then they are going to understand better what is happening to them. Still in that sessions, they are going to know the skills that they can be using for survival. Thank you for listening. We're looking forward to speaking and having another session with you next time. Thank you.